there anything you guys can take from the success you guys had against Oklahoma last season and I guess use it this year?
Oh, I hope so. I don't know. It's a different team, and they're a different team, and we're a different team. So I think you just try to build off the things that you're doing, and you look at last year's tape, but again, they're a completely different football team than they were a year ago, and really so are we.
Well, Coach Campbell said that Ray Lima's the unsung hero of what your defense has been able to do. What have you seen from him, even if it doesn't always show up on the stats?
Well, there's consistency inside. I mean, if you're going to be good in anything, most sports, you got to be good down the middle. And he's playing really good football in there down the middle, which allows us to do some stuff, outside of that. And that doesn't always get seen. But it's no different than the pitcher and the catcher and the point guard and post guy. And we got a nose that's in there playing really well right now, and he's where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there, so it really helps.
What's allowed your defense to maybe grow so fast, given that they had so much inexperience coming in?
Well, we're not done growing, I hope, and I think we're trying to keep it as simple as we can, trying to get consistency. I think you become detailed through consistency, and we're trying to stay consistent with game plans and not try to be geniuses, try to take the players that are healthiest and help us the most with who we're going to play against and get them in there and allow them to do what they do. And I think our staff has done a good job of that for the most part. I mean, we've just tried to take pieces. We've been banged up in some different spots and move some different pieces around without changing the whole concept of the defense. And I think that's been the biggest part.
How do you balance keeping it simple versus avoiding being predictable? Because I know Coach Campbell raved about how you guys did so many different things.
Yeah, I don't know. I think some of it looked different. I don't think it was. Some was. But I think we try to change the look of it. We try to affect the quarterback every week with how the stuff looks, and yet try to keep it simple. Try to make it look complicated and keep it really simple for our guys. And we still have a Mike linebacker that's first year he's played Mike linebacker, and we've got young guys around him. And so we're just trying to take the parts that we have at that point and figure out who we're playing and try to make it all work with some consistency of really what we've done all along. But just changing some pieces a little bit.
In what ways does Baker Mayfield affect the outcome of games, number one, and number two? How do you go about defending that?
Well, he's a veteran, I mean, in all fairness, that guy's been around a long time playing this game. I mean, I'm guessing he could, call some of that offense. I mean, he knows what he's doing and probably does some of it. And I think his offensive line is as fine a looking group players that I've seen on tape in years. We played against, crew at Arkansas and tight ends and those guys. I mean, this is as good a looking football team up front as that I've seen in a long, long number of years. So I think that also helps him become, I think it just allows him to be really poised in what he's doing. He believes in him, and it shows.
Coach Campbell said that you guys challenged DeMonte Ruth, sometime maybe in the offseason. What's allowed him to go where he was to, I think he said he played 94 snaps.
Well, we obviously DeAndre didn't play, and he kind of stepped up into that role, and I think he's been growing all along. I mean, sometimes I think, as I tell our players, the hardest part is to expect a lot of yourself because maybe you haven't before, and we've kind of tried to help him do that. Expect a lot of himself and be what you can be, and I think he's done a great job of it. He's improved and he's gotten better at his craft, and it showed the other day.
Was there a light bulb moment for him? Anything that stands out to you in seeing him in the winter or the spring or anything?
I don't think players are any different than all of us. I think there comes a point where you're going to have to look in the mirror and figure out if you're going to do this or not, and I think he must have chosen to do this. And when you make that choice, why it gives you a chance to have success.
What stands out most about the offensive line from Oklahoma that you're talking about?
They're talented. They were all young guys a year ago when we played them. They're all veterans. They've been through it. They know the system. They're very athletic. They looked on film. They look trimmed down. They don't look like the same group. They look like they are in outstanding condition and shape, and just veteran guys.
How did Kamari impress you in his return from the elbow issue?
Did a great job, made a nice play on the interception. Did a good job of helping, all of our guys. Same thing, veterans in the back end that can help you get lined up and help the rest of the guys play. Why? That's what he brings. He doesn't just play well himself. He helps everybody else play, and he holds everybody else to standards. And I think that's what I've appreciated about him the most this year is he knows the sand's going through the hourglass, and he's trying to get all of it he can get.
Lincoln Riley obviously entered a pretty interesting situation there, or unique situation, I guess. How have you seen him kind of put his fingerprints on that offense and on film?
Well, he did last year. I mean, he called all the plays, and I say it's exactly the same. I'm sure it's not, but on film it looks exactly the same. I think there's a few wrinkles here and there, but I think he's been in charge of that. I think he was running the show a year ago when Bobby was there, and he's still calling plays and doing all that stuff. So, like I said, they're an improved football team from the one we played a year ago, and I think in all aspects.